friends. Today we are going to talk about the book Boundaries. We are not going to talk about the book, but we are going to learn the lessons from it. Boundaries, when to say yes and when to say no to take control of your life. And this book is written by Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. Let's talk about the author, Dr. Henry Cloud. Henry Cloud is a leading expert, clinical psychologist, and New York Times best-selling author. His 45 books, including The Iconic Boundaries, have sold nearly 20 million copies worldwide. He has an extensive executive coaching background and experience as a leadership consultant, and majority of his time working with CEOs, leadership teams, and executives to improve performance, leadership skills, and culture. Let's talk about Dr. John Townsend. He is a business consultant, leadership coach, and psychologist. He has written over 30 books, selling 10 million copies, including New York Times best-selling Boundary series, People Fuel, Leading from Your Gut. That's all about the author. Let's look into the book now. Now we are going to talk about the content of this book. It has 3 different parts, comprises of 16 chapters or lessons. As I said, it is divided into 3 different parts. Part 1 is what are boundaries, and part 2 boundary conflicts, and part 3 is developing healthy boundaries. Let's learn some 15 lessons from the book Boundaries, and also we'll look into those lessons in detail. 15 lessons from boundaries. Number 1. Boundaries are essential for healthy relationship and personal growth. They allow us to define who we are, what we are responsible for, and what we are not. And number 2, there are 4 types of boundaries: physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. And number 3 is boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary for our own well being and for the well being of others. And lesson number 4 is it is okay to say no. In fact, it is often necessary to say no in order to protect our boundaries. And lesson number 5 is we are responsible for our own feelings and actions. We cannot control the behavior of others, but we can control how we respond to them. Lesson number 6. We are not responsible for the feelings and action of others. We cannot fix other problem or make them happy. Number 7. We have the right to set limits on our time, energy, and resources. We do not have to give to everyone who asks. And number 8, it is important to communicate our boundaries clearly and assertively. We should not expect others to mind read. And number 9 is we should prepare to enforce our boundaries. This may mean saying no, walking away, or ending a relationship. And number 10 is boundaries are not always easy to set or maintain. However, they are essential for a healthy and fulfilling life. And number 11 is boundaries are not walls. They are not meant to keep people out of our lives. Rather, they are meant to protect us and to create a safe space for connection. And number 12 is boundaries are not about control. They are about taking responsibility of our own lives and well-being. And number 13 is boundaries are not static. They need to be adjusted as our lives change and as we grow. And number 14 is boundaries are not always popular. Sometimes setting boundaries will upset others. However, it is important to remember that we cannot please everyone. And number 15 is boundaries are worth it. Setting boundaries can be challenging, but it is one of the best thing we can do for ourselves and our relationship. These are the 15 lessons that we learned from boundaries. Let's talk about all these boundaries in detail. Boundaries explains with the help of modern psychology and Christian ideals how to improve your mental health and personal growth by establishing guidelines for self-care that include saying no more often and standing firm in your decisions rather than letting people walk all over you. You wake up early to make breakfast for your kids, even though you're doing a presentation at work that you really need to prepare before leaving. You still don't ask your husband to help you cook for the kids. Once you get to work, the presentation equipment is not ready, so you go get it yourself, even though it's not your job and your day is just getting started. If any of this sounds familiar, you could probably use some boundaries. Boundaries when to say yes and when to say no and take control of your life. And here are the three of the most helpful lessons that this book taught me. Boundaries are all about kindness to yourself and others. It won't be quick or easy, but setting boundaries is always worth it. Boundaries will help you in both your personal and professional life. Let's get right into these ideas and learn how to take better care of ourselves. It is an act of kindness to yourself and those around you to set boundaries. Lesson 1. From concrete walls to no trespassing signs, we found physical boundaries all around us. Usually, these exist for a good reason. A tall chain link fence around an electric plant is there to protect us from walking into a dangerous area. Personal boundaries are likewise necessary for protecting your emotion and spirit. But unlike physical boundaries, others cannot always see them. This makes it hard to establish, recognize, and enforce them. Setting boundaries entails taking ownership of your own wants, needs, and feelings. It means prioritizing you, but often people feel like it means they are neglecting others. But that's not true. All it means is that you are not responsible for other people's problem. Setting boundaries like this is an act of kindness to yourself as well as to everyone around you. Lesson 2. It can be hard to set up boundaries, but it will make your life much better. Before you are comfortable enough to assert boundaries, you might make excuses for other people violating your boundaries. You might say stuff like, Jeff always puts me down when he is with his friends. He is only joking though, but over time you start to get resentful. This resentment can be a good thing if it means you are done being about boundaries violation. So pay attention. This will be your first step to healthy boundaries. But it won't be easy when you try to set boundaries with a controller or manipulator. They are set on using you, won't let you say no. Their insistence on using you can be addictive for you because it makes you feel needed. Friends who don't make a fuss, if you can't make it to lunch, won't give you the same high, but this is the time to seek out these types of friend. Next, learn how to love and value yourself. When our boundaries are constantly being violated, we start to treat ourselves like these people treat us. We can't use our thoughts, feelings, talents, and bodies like God intended us to. If we can't love these things in ourselves, we will have a hard time loving things others. This is why finding value in yourself is key to creating and recognizing healthy boundaries. After that, you can start setting small boundaries like telling your partner you don't want to be left with taking out the garbage all the time and accepting the friend's offer to bring the dish to your party. You will find out that you enjoy having your new healthy boundaries and the peace they can bring to your life. And lesson number 3 is boundaries are essential in both your personal life and your work life. Most friendships fall into a complaint person and a controller. An example of this is that a friend that who wants to cancel all of your plans to spend time with them. In situation like this, one person walks all over the other and both are left unhappy. Being a natural controller is not necessarily bad, but you need boundaries to make sure the friendship stays within the boundaries it should. It's also equally important to assert boundaries at work as it is in your personal life. Many people find it hard to say no in a professional settings, but just because you are clocked in does not mean your boundaries have disappeared. You might be the type that steps in and takes responsibilities for your colleague's poor performance. If this is you, it's time to step back and only take responsibilities for your own task and let them figure it out. You might also be an overworker, but often this is the fault of a boss who does not know how to allocate work. Don't take responsibilities for this problem if it's not yours. At the end of the day, remember that you need to create a boundary that separates your work and home. Stress from work should be left at work. Stress from home should be left at home. Of course, you will always have things you need to do, but if you never say no to work, you are probably missing out on the things that you make life worth living. Let's review the boundary book. Boundaries is really our opening, a final review or summary. It makes you realize that you need to lay down some boundaries for your own health and that you should not feel guilty about doing so. It also helps you recognize other people's boundaries and hopefully become a better person for that, which the world could use a lot more. Who would I recommend the boundaries summary to? The 47-year-old who always feel mentally drained and is not sure why, and a 29-year-old that lets people walk all over them and anyone who wants to discover a crucial component of self care. That's all about the book Boundaries. Hope it is helpful to you. So, thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.